Hello, my friends, and welcome to a new episode of the Slow English Podcast. My name is David, and I am so happy to spend this time with you today. If this is your first time here, let me say a big, warm welcome. This podcast is designed especially for English learners who want to improve step by step in a calm and clear way. Here we speak slowly, explain carefully, and give you real techniques that you can use every day. Before we begin, I have one small request. Please subscribe to this channel or podcast right now. By subscribing, you make sure that you never miss a new episode. We publish daily content to help you improve your English, and by subscribing, you also support our mission. If you enjoy today's episode, please also give it a like and share it with your friends. Together, we can create a big international community of learners who help and motivate each other. Now, let's talk about today's topic: thinking in English. This is one of the biggest goals for learners, but also one of the biggest challenges. Many students tell me, "David, I can understand English when I listen or read, but in my head, I always translate from my language into English. It is slow, it is difficult, and sometimes I cannot find the words." Maybe you also feel the same way. This problem is very common. Most learners begin by studying English with translation. For example, they learn that bonjour means hello, or that maison means house. At first, translation helps, but later, when you want to speak quickly, translation becomes a barrier. You spend too much time moving from your language to English, and by the time you are ready to speak, the conversation has already moved on. That is why thinking in English is so important. But here is the good news. Thinking in English is not magic, and it is not only for advanced students. It is a skill, and like any skill, you can train it. Just like a musician trains to play an instrument or an athlete trains to run faster, you can train your brain to think in English directly without translation. Why is this skill powerful? Because when you think in English, you become faster, more natural, and more confident. You don't need to pause and translate in your head. You don't feel nervous about finding the right word. You are already in the English zone, where your thoughts and your words come together naturally. In this podcast, I will guide you step by step. First, we will explore why most learners translate in their heads and how to break this habit. Understanding the problem is the first step to solving it. Then, in the second part, we will practice specific exercises that help you think in English every day. These exercises are simple, practical, and you can start them immediately after listening. I want you to remember something important. You don't need to be perfect to think in English. You only need to start small. Even simple thoughts like, "I am hungry," or "It is sunny today," are already thinking in English. With practice, those small thoughts grow into bigger ones like planning your day, telling a story, or sharing an opinion. Step by step, English becomes the natural voice in your mind. So my friends, stay with me until the end of this episode. I promise that by the time we finish, you will not only understand why thinking in English matters, but you will also have clear tools to begin practicing today. Once again, welcome to the Slow English Podcast by David. Relax, listen carefully, repeat when you can, and let's begin this exciting journey to train your brain to think directly in English. Part 1. Why thinking in English is important. Hello again, my friend. This is David, and welcome back to this Slow English Podcast. Thank you for listening today. I am happy that you are here with me. In this part, we are going to talk about why thinking in English is so important. When you learn a language, most people first understand with their own language. For example, if your first language is French, you listen in English, then translate to French, and then answer. This looks normal, but it is slow. When you translate every word in your head, you lose time. You also lose confidence. You feel nervous because your brain is working too hard. So, the big question is, how can we stop translating and start thinking in English? Before we talk about the how, let us understand the why. Why is this important? First, thinking in English helps you speak faster. Imagine that you want to say something simple like, I want a cup of tea. If you translate from your language, you stop, you wait, you search for words. But if you already think in English, the sentence comes naturally. You don't stop, you don't feel nervous. Second, thinking in English helps you understand native speakers better. When you listen to movies, podcasts, or conversations, you don't have time to translate every word. If you try to translate, the speaker is already 3 sentences ahead. But if you practice thinking directly in English, you can follow the flow. You understand the idea in real time. Third, thinking in English helps with confidence. Many learners say, I understand, but I can't speak. The problem is often translation. Your brain is like a busy road with too many cars. When you try to translate, the traffic gets stuck. But when you think in English, the road is clear. Words come more smoothly. You feel free. Finally, thinking in English helps with fluency. Fluency is not only about grammar or vocabulary. Fluency means that your words flow, like water in a river. If you think in English, you don't stop and start all the time. You don't block yourself. Instead, you speak in a natural way, like a native speaker. Now some people say, but David, it's too difficult. I cannot think in English because I don't know many words. And I say, that is okay. You don't need perfect English to think in English. You can start with small words, small sentences, and small ideas. With time, your brain will learn to use English more and more. So, the first step is not to be perfect. The first step is to accept mistakes. Thinking in English is not about being correct all the time. It is about creating a habit in your brain, a habit of using English directly, without translation. In the next part, we will talk about how to practice thinking in English every day. I will give you clear, simple exercises that you can do alone. Exercises you can do at home, outside, or even when you are walking. So stay with me, and let's continue this journey together. Part 2. Practicing the habit of thinking in English. 500 words. Now let us go deeper into the practice of thinking in English. Many learners ask me, David, how can I stop translating in my head? How can I think directly in English? The answer is simple, but it requires patience. You must create small daily habits where English becomes the natural language of your thoughts. Let me show you step by step. First, start with your daily activities. For example, when you wake up in the morning, describe what you are doing in English. Say in your mind, I am getting out of bed. I am brushing my teeth. I am making coffee. I am opening the window. These are simple sentences, but they help you connect your actions with English words. If you do this every day, your brain will no longer need to translate from your first language. It will directly use English. Second, use objects around you to build small thoughts. Look at a chair and say, this is a chair. The chair is brown. I sit on the chair. Then add more details. The chair is near the window. I use it when I read. These short sentences train your brain to describe the world in English. It is like building a new English map inside your mind. Third, practice inner conversations. Imagine you are speaking to someone, maybe a friend or even me, David. Ask yourself a question in English, then answer in English. For example, what will I eat for lunch? Answer, I will eat rice and vegetables. Next question, what do I need to do this afternoon? Answer, I need to write an email and study English. These mini dialogues are powerful because they train you to think quickly without waiting for translation. Fourth, use emotions and opinions in your thinking. When you feel happy, say, "I feel happy because the sun is shining." When you feel tired, think, "I am tired, I need to rest." When you see something interesting, say, "That movie is exciting, I want to watch it again." By connecting emotions with English, you make the language more personal and natural. Finally, remember the rule of progress, not perfection. Do not worry if your sentences are simple or if your grammar is not perfect. The goal is to train your brain to think directly in English, step by step. The more you practice, the faster your thoughts will flow. You will notice that one day, without effort, you are thinking in English about your plans, your feelings, your dreams. That is when you will feel true progress. So, create the habit. Start small. Use daily actions, objects, inner dialogues, and emotions. With these steps, you will slowly transform your mind into an English-thinking machine. So, my friends, we have arrived at the end of this slow English podcast about thinking in English. I hope you enjoyed this journey with me. Let us take a moment to look back at what we learned together. First, we talked about the power of thinking directly in English. This small change can make a very big difference in your learning journey. When you translate less from your native language, you become faster, more confident, and more natural. You don't need to stop and search for every word. You don't need to build a sentence piece by piece. Instead, your mind starts to flow in English. It becomes easier to express your ideas and emotions. Second, we explored some practical ways to begin this process. You discovered how to start small, with simple thoughts in English. You learned how to describe your daily actions in your mind. You saw the value of labeling the world around you step by step. You also saw how listening and speaking slowly can train your brain to feel comfortable in English. Remember, slow English is powerful English. It gives your brain the time to adapt and to build stronger connections. And third, we discussed the importance of patience and practice. Thinking in English is not something you master in one day, 1 week, or even 1 month. It is a journey, and every day you can make progress. Each time you try, your brain learns something new. Each time you practice, you become more fluent. The key is to stay consistent. Just like exercise builds strong muscles, regular practice builds strong English thinking. Now, before we say goodbye, let me remind you of something very important. You are not alone. Thousands of learners around the world are walking the same path as you. They also feel nervous sometimes. They also make mistakes. But the ones who succeed are the ones who keep going. And today, by listening to this podcast until the end, you have shown that you are serious, motivated, and ready to grow. I am very proud of you. If you want to go even further, here is my invitation. Please like this video if you found it helpful. Please share it with a friend who is also learning English. And most important, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next episodes. Every week, I prepare slow English podcasts designed to help you train your brain, improve your listening, and speak more confidently. Also, I have a special gift for you. If you leave a comment below with the words, "Send me the PDF," I will send you the full written version of this podcast. With the PDF, you can read, review, and practice again at your own pace. It is a very powerful tool to combine listening and reading. Many learners use this method to double their progress. So don't be shy. Write a comment now. Say, "Send me the PDF," and join our community of learners. Finally, remember this. Learning English is not just about grammar or vocabulary. It is about opening your mind, connecting with people, and building new opportunities. Every time you think in English, you are building a new part of yourself. You are creating the future version of you, a confident speaker who can travel, work, and connect across cultures. Thank you, my friends, for being here today. This was David with your Slow English podcast. Stay motivated, keep thinking in English, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care and keep practicing every single day.